Question from Honorable Minister. Whether the investment in renewable energy by coal PSUs indicate a structured transition strategy rather than an ad hoc diversification. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister.
Sir, it is a structured strategy. What invariably happens, sir, is that all PSUs, the ones I am familiar with, which are dealing with the energy sector, they declare a date for net zero. The companies with which I am more familiar, like the oil marketing companies, they have about a net zero target by 2040 or 2045. So when you adopt a strategy, it has to lead in that direction, that you start a process now. Now, I know in the coal sector, some of those net zero targets are a little closer. They are in 2030. So if you look at the overall figures, they may appear small now. But, sir, if you look at the solar energy supply chain, it also is very cumbersome. So I am very confident. One, I can be very sure it is a consciously thought through strategy. It's not something that is done ad hoc. If there is a strategy to become net zero by a particular year. 2070 power. No, 2070 is a national target. My senior colleague Manohar ji just reminded me, totally correct. Sir, we set a national target of net zero by 2070. When the Honorable Prime Minister went to Glasgow, I think, at around that time, when we took the 5 commitments, 2070 people said it's too far. No, for a country like India, which has great developmental challenges and which has been traditionally dependent on different fossil fuels, etc. So when I was associated with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry, our daily consumption of crude oil was 5 million barrels a day. Today it is 5.6 million barrels. As we go forward, it will go up to 6 and 6.5 million barrels. Similarly, therefore, our companies, if they declare 2040, ONGC, IOCL, etc., it's a very bold target. Including in the coal sector, they are very bold targets. It may appear that the start is a little slow, but it's a structured strategy, and as we go along and clear the cobwebs, these diversification or movement into clean energy will be cleaned up. They have always, all of them, have been very consciously, whether even if a company is located in Telangana, it's not that it is doing capex in Telangana and providing jobs, 1,600 crores, but this company is also doing solar projects in the rest of the country. Thank you, sir.
Fifth supplementary, Ms. Dolasanji.
Thank you, Chairman, sir, for giving me chance. Sir, through you, I want to communicate the Union Government Treasury Bench that coal is our national asset, but they are trying to disinvest and privatize badly this coal sector and the coal PSUs by any means according to their policy decision. I want to ask that whether it's Atmanirbharata at all, where our national assets are being sold to corporates and the foreign companies even, and it's affecting the nationalized coal industry and coal PSUs and the workers as well. How much capital expenditure and clean energy investments you do for coal PSUs, that doesn't matter. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister.
Sir, I am very intrigued when I have a question which is both a question and then there is an answer in the tail, which says how much capital expenditure you do, it doesn't matter. But there are some other aspects to which my honorable colleague and friend has referred to, that national assets are being sold to corporate this thing. No, 1 minute, let's slow down. If there are 3 PSUs, one is called Coal India Limited, the other one is Singaneri Collieries and Coal and Colliers, the third one is Neyveli Lignite. Are these foreign corporate assets? So these are owned by our own people. And they are the people who are doing this thing. They are the ones who are doing this thing. Insofar as the coal sector is concerned, I must say, my little education in the last 2 days, it's not just the coal PSUs which are doing this thing. There are also private sector people who are running. There are about 86 private projects which are going. And I am not aware, sir, in my long history, 9th year in the Honorable Prime Minister's team, or 39 years as civil servant, I don't recall of any privatization of the coal PSUs. So I don't know what the honourable member is talking about, that we are selling the assets of the coal PSUs to corporate interests or to this thing. Yes, a little bit of illegal mining, not little, quite a lot of illegal mining takes place. That is in spite of us. That is, people go elsewhere. But now land is a state subject, sir. But because of the inherently dangerous nature of coal mining, which is below ground, etc., a centre's clearance is required. So I want to categorically state the central government has not, and I say it categorically with my limited knowledge of the sector, we have not sold any assets to corporate entities. I don't recall, I don't think there's ever been a privatization of coal PSUs, etc. And the three of them, CIL and LCL, etc., they have all been working and their capital expenditure targets have gone up. So in one case, last year it had gone up 140% over the existing target, and I also gave the figures in reply to an earlier supplementary, how it has increased from 22, 23, etc. So I think it's a happy story in the coal sector. Yes, we should do away. I mean, she referred to coal as a national asset. But if you're an environmentalist, you should say, by slowly use your coal, produce more, which we are doing. We are importing less. We are saving 60,000 crores, I think, on foreign exchange because of lessening of imports. And today we are in the happy situation. We are also making the transition to solar energy and other cleaner energy, sir.
Now question number 92, Sriman Rajendra Gupta ji.
Not present.
The third supplementary, Dr. Ajit Kopchade ji.
ऊर्जा सुरक्षा को मजबूत करने और आम नागरिकों का अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में कच्चे तेल की कीमत होने के वाले उतार चढ़ाव से बचाने के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में केंद्र सरकार लगातार ठोस और राष्ट्रहित में निर्णय ले रही है। मैं माननीय मंत्री जी को ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि क्या सरकार ने भविष्य में सरकार कच्चे तेल के रणनीतिक भंडार की तरह द्रवीकृत पेट्रोलियम गैस, जिसे एलपीजी कहते हैं, उसके लिए रणनीतिक या बफर भंडारण की व्यवस्था विकसित करने का कोई निर्णय लिया है और ऐसा कोई प्रस्ताव विचाराधीन है? और रणनीतिक पेट्रोलियम भंडारों का उपयोग अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कच्चे तेल की कीमतों में उतार चढ़ाव के प्रभाव को कम करने के लिए क्या किया जा रहा है? यदि हाँ, तो आम उपभोक्ताओं के हितों को ध्यान में रखते हुए एलपीजी, पेट्रोल और डीजल की कीमतों को नियंत्रण में रखने के लिए माननीय मंत्री जी और मंत्रालय द्वारा वर्तमान में कौन-कौन से ठोस और दीर्घकालिक कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं?
Honorable Minister.
Sir, the specific question, start question priority 2, is on the issue of our strategic petroleum reserves. Sir, for any country, particularly a large country like India, and a country which is growing at a phenomenal pace, the economic growth, one quarter it was 8.2%, sir. Previous quarter it was 7.8%. And according to the IMF, which has enhanced our expected rate of economic growth from 6.6 to 7.3%, the country must have a very viable and secure reserve so that in the case of global turbulence, etc., we should not be found in a vulnerable situation. Fortunately, sir, India has a vast coastline, both on the west and the east. We have several refineries in the west coast, sir, starting with Nayara, RIL in Jamnagar, Mumbai. We have Mangalore, we have Kochi on the western coast. We have Chennai, Tatipaka, Vizag, Paradeep, Barauni, Haldia on the eastern coast. Sir, according to the International Energy Agency, and I'm only mentioning the vast coastline and this thing, because today we are the world's third largest consumer of crude oil. We have the world's fourth largest reserve refining capacity, currently around 260 million metric tons per annum, going on to 320 million metric tons per annum. And we are also the world's fifth largest exporter of petroleum product. Now, the strategic petroleum reserve is designed to ensure that in case of total global turbulence, in case supplies cannot reach either from the western coast or the eastern coast, we must have enough stock left in order to meet that. Now, fortunately for India, sir, we are also a domestic producer. When I say we are the 5th largest exporter, God forbid, if there was to be an eventuality where no supplies are reaching, we would obviously not then export. We would also utilize our domestic consumption for our domestic production for domestic consumption. So the International Energy Agency stipulates that there should be about 90 days of holding as a strategic petroleum reserve. But I also want to point out, sir, these are estimates largely relevant. I'm choosing my words carefully. I'm not saying they are not relevant for others. 90 days largely relevant for OECD countries, also smaller OECD countries. You know, when there was a global crisis and there was total volatility, the IEA, International Energy Agency based in Paris, it stipulated that countries which had large reserves, they should release some in order to stabilize the global price. So which are the countries which released stocks in differing quantities from their stocks? One was the United States, the other was India, and third was China, and the fourth, I think, if I recall correctly, was Japan. So we are in the happy situation that we were able to rise to the situation. Today, sir, we calculate our reserves, not only what is in the caverns, and these are in 3 places. I can't go into precise details, although some people speculate. They are in the states of Andhra Pradesh, in the state of Karnataka, and the third one we are hoping to get started, sir, in Odisha soon. Together, if you look at the reserves in the caverns and what is held by us in our refineries and what is on floating platforms at our ports together and our products, it comes to 74 days. Ideally, it should be 90, but I feel at least as the line minister safe with something like 74 days, and going forward, we can even consider raising it. The honorable member also raised the issue of price volatility. Sir, this particular question relates to the period 2015 to 2022. So that period between 2015 and 2022 is the pre-COVID period. And it also covers the COVID period and till 2022 when COVID was mercifully on its way out. Sir, we filled the current stock at that time, at 2015 to 22, at prices which I may say, because normally we don't discuss the price at which we buy oil, at roughly 50% of the prevailing price today, which is, sir, very creditable. Because you bought it at 50% of the correct price. Now, you would be making a mistake if you were to buy crude at a price and then, you know, it drops and then you'd say, well, you've made a mistake. You should have waited to buy. So there is always a balance involved. I'm very happy to inform this House through you, sir, that we have been able to weather the international turbulence thanks to the far-sighted and visionary policies of the Honorable Prime Minister. We have been able to ensure availability, affordability, and sustainability, the trilemma of energy. And today, whether it is a question of biofuels, a reference was made in the question also to liquefied petroleum gas, our production is going up. We are also signing international arrangements. When the president of the UAE, he was here recently, sir, we signed another deal with them. We are importing about, I think, what, $9 billion worth of natural gas from them. We are also importing from Qatar, from other countries. Also, sir, we have a situation on petroleum gas, liquefied petroleum gas, which is a cylinder gas, which is a product of a refinery. We also signed an agreement with the United States for buying 10% of our requirements from there. So overall, sir, the strategic petroleum reserve is a very important component in our economic security. And economic security means that a democratically elected government and the Prime Minister feels particularly responsible to the common man, the Aam Aadmi, that the prices should be at lowest level, and they are lower today than in many parts, more parts of the world. In fact, cooking gas has been supplied. I got the note in hand. Cooking gas, which is in cylinders, sir, there was, in 2014, we had 14 crore connections. And if 1 crore connection is for a family, it's gone up to 33 lakh connection. And if there are 4 people in a family, we've virtually saturated the country. In addition to that, that is being supplied to Ujjwala beneficiaries, sir, for as little as 5 rupees in a day. And if the beneficiary is not an Ujjwala beneficiary, but non-beneficiary, he or she is also getting it in his or her kitchen for as little as 13, 14 rupees per day. This is a very reasonable price. Our oil marketing companies incurred a loss in doing that, but we compensated them, and with God's grace, sir, they're all doing well. So all in all, sir, this is a very important component of our energy security, strategic petroleum reserve, and it has worked very well. The 74 days of stockholding we do, sir, we just don't keep it there. 50% of it is also available for trading. And if there were to be a requirement, Government of India would have the first claim on it. But because if you keep too much of stuff in your godown or basement, then it seems unproductive. But we use 50% of this also to supply the country's needs and for trading. Thank you, sir.
Next supplementary, Shriman Mastan Rao Yadav Bidaji.
Thank you for giving me opportunity to raise a supplementary question, sir. So the recent discovery of natural gas reserves in Andaman offshore area has therefore generated expectation of strengthening domestic production.